Alright, hello beautiful young people, this is your captain speaking, Captain Fantastic, and I'm here to just do an audio guide to your homework for the second part of our Fear in Florence, the horror of Florence that we're just going to do before we go down there in the nice weather. And this time it's a really difficult poem that I don't think it would be fair to you to make you just read at home, because possibly most of you wouldn't understand it. So here's an audio guide that you can watch as many times as you like to help you read the poem. The poem is called My Last Duchess, and it's by Robert Browning, who was a famous painter. Painter. He was a famous poet. So are you comfortable? Are you relaxed? Get a cup of tea. You can pause this, wear something comfortable, and listen to my voice, and I'll get you through it. First off, I'd like to set the scene. This poem concerns two people. Here, this beautiful woman is the reason we are reading it. She is a real world person who was called Lucrezia de Medici. She was a daughter of the famous de Medici family from Florence, who we are going to see their home when we get down there, and their burial chapel. She is the last Duchess that is spoken of in the poem's title, and the Duke, her husband, is this man over here, who was the Duke of Ferrara, and he married this woman when she was 17, and she died only 2 years later, and it was rumored at the time, this is 600 years ago, but it was rumored at the time that he murdered her. And that's what the poem is about. This is why it's called My Last Duchess, and this is why it's a horror, sort of a horror poem. It's about a murder. Right on. And here is the poem, and I'm going to go through you with it, though I'm not going to be detailed. The first 4 lines go, "That's my last Duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder now. Fra Pandolf's hands worked busily a day, and there she stands." First off, notice the rhymes: wall, call, hands, stands, and it goes on: said, read, countenance, glance, by, eye, durst, first. It rhymes in couplets all the way through. Each line rhymes with the next line. Yes. What he's saying in the first 4 lines is that it's his last Duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. Notice that she's looking as if she were alive. She's not alive anymore. This is, by the way, a dramatic monologue. The speaker is the Duke of Ferrara. He's speaking to somebody who we don't know who that is, and we don't ever hear his voice. We only hear the Duke of Ferrara, and he's speaking about Lucrezia de Medici, who is dead when the poem starts, and he talks about a painting of her. He's showing a painting on the wall of this lovely young woman. So, I call that piece a wonder now. Fra Pandolf's hands worked busily a day, and there she stands. It's a wonderful poem, and Fra Pandolf, Fra means brother, so the painter is called Brother Pandolf. He was a monk, and he's painted her, and it's as good as if she were alive. And he continues, "Will it please you sit and look at her? I said, Fra Pandolf by design, for never read strangers like you that pictured countenance, the depth and passion of its earnest glance, but to myself they turned, since none put by that curtain I have drawn for you but I, and seemed as they would ask me, if they durst, how such a glance came there. So not the first are you to turn and ask thus." Alright, long section, and you probably didn't get what that means. Basically what he's saying is this painting is so good that it was on purpose that he said Brother Pandolf, because people who see this poem, this painting, they also always want to ask him, who created this painting? It's so great. Who made it? So that's why he said for Pandolf. That's the meaning of that part. It's not terribly important. He continues, "Sir, 'twas not her husband's presence only called that spot of joy into the Duchess' cheek." So he's saying, sir, it wasn't just the fact that I was there. Her husband is the Duke himself, the Duke of Ferrara. It wasn't just the fact that I was there that caused the Duchess to blush. That is, she has, in the painting, her cheek is red, and it wasn't just the fact that her husband was there. Perhaps Fra Pandolf chanced to say, her mantle laps over my lady's wrists too much, or paint must never hope to reproduce the faint half flush that dies along her throat. So the reason for her blushing it could have been that somebody gave her compliments. And apparently our Duke, it's implied, he doesn't like the fact that she blushes when other people than him gave her compliments. Okay, such stuff was courtesy, she thought, and cause enough for calling up that spot of joy. That is, when people said nice things to her, she would blush, and she didn't really like that. Okay, she had a heart, how shall I say, too soon made glad, too easily impressed. She liked whatever she looked on, and her looks went everywhere. So this young lady, she likes everything she sees. She's a happy disposition. She smiles at everything, and she blushes. She grows red. She blushes when she sees things. And apparently our Duke doesn't like that. And he continues, Sir, 'twas all one. That is, everything was the same. My favour at her breast, the dropping of the daylight in the west, the bough of cherries some officious fool broke in the orchard for her, the white mule she rode with round the terrace, all and each would draw from her alike the approving speech, or blush at least. That is, no matter what happened, if it was the fact that my favour at her breast, the Duke was making love to her, or it was the sun going down, or someone gave her cherries, or the white mule she rode on, everything made her happy. Or at least blush. And as you can probably, as I've already said, and you can begin to sense, the Duke doesn't like that. She thanked men. Good. But thanked somehow, I know not how, as if she ranked my gift of a 900 years old name with anybody's gift. So she thanked everybody in the same way. And the Duke, he felt that the fact that he has a 900-year-old noble name, the name of Ferrara, that should be more important to her than other sorts of gifts from other people. Yeah, and he doesn't like that. Okay, who'd stoop to blame this sort of trifling? That is, who'd lower themselves to be angry at this sort of thing? He couldn't really make himself blame her for that. And he continues, even had you skill in speech, which I have not, to make your will quite clear to such a one, and say, just this or that in you disgusts me. Here you miss or exceed the mark, and if she let herself be lessened so, nor plainly set her wits to yours, forsooth, and made excuse, even then would be some stooping, and I choose never to stoop. He's saying here, even if he was able to tell her what he disliked about her, he feels that it would be somehow demeaning, altså det ville være nedværdigende for ham, to correct her, to correct what's wrong in her. Bear in mind that he's a guy who's been in a noble family for 900 years, he's a very old family, and the Medici at this time is a new family, so he feels that he is finer than her somehow. And he doesn't want to correct her. It's embarrassing, he feels. Oh, sir, she smiled, no doubt, whenever I passed her. But who passed without much the same smile? So she smiles whenever she sees him, but she also smiles at other people. This grew. I gave commands. Then all smiles stuck together. There she stands, as if alive. Those are the three most important lines, or 3.5 most important lines in the poem. I think you maybe, if you've been listening carefully, can interpret them on your own. We'll do them one more time. From here, this grew, I gave commands, then all smiles stuck together. There she stands, as if alive. Alright, we'll talk about it. If you didn't get it, we'll talk about it in class. And then he now addresses the guy he's talking to again. He says, will it please you rise? Would you like to stand up? We'll meet the company below. We'll go downstairs and meet the people down there. Then, I repeat, the Count your master's known munificence is ample warrant that no just pretence of mine for dowry will be disallowed, though his fair daughter's self, as I avowed, as starting, is my object. He's saying, I know your master, the Count, is rich. The guy he's talking to is the servant, and the servant's master is a rich count, and that that rich count will not deny him dowry, that is money. When you married the daughter of a rich man in the old days, you would get money, so the count will give him money for marrying his daughter, even though he's mostly interested in the daughter, he claims, at least, here. But he's marrying again the Duke, so that's why this is his last Duchess, and he's about to marry a new one. And then he finishes the poem saying, "Nay, we'll go together down, sir." Notice Neptune, though, taming a seahorse, thought a rarity which clouds of Innsbruck cast in bronze for me. And then he's pointing to a bronze statue on the stairs, saying, "Isn't it wonderful?" And he's apparently forgotten about his Duchess, the last Duchess again. That's the end of the poem. We'll talk about it in the class. Hope you enjoyed it. You can listen to this again. Look forward to seeing you all, and have a great day. And that's it. Bye.